Welcome everybody to the Sunday School 9:15 morning. All right, thank you guys. Hey Sue. Yeah, I guess the reason that I wanted to bring an understanding of we spend a lot of time invalidating other people. My belief is correct and yours is wrong. My belief is correct and yours is wrong. Is a issue that I find a problem, and why do we do this? I've been looking at we have 4,300 different religions, sects, and denominations in the world today.
4,500.
4,300 different indigenous, coming from Christianity, which is the largest, at 2.4 billion people, claim some part of the Christian religion. There's different sects in that: Baptist, Assembly of God. You can go down to Ethiopian religions. You can go down all the different religious paths and look at like the Muslims. 1.9 billion people claim to be Muslim, but inside that Muslim belief are all of these different sects that go on. You have, I know of Assembly of God churches that has 24 members, that they have come to the conclusion of their own particular belief, and they don't really believe that they're Assembly of God. They don't really believe that they're Baptist, but they recognize more of being with a part of the Assembly of God religion. And it's usually run by an individual who wants to use what I would call the human worship gene. We just have this gene that we're always looking outside of ourselves for a God, for something that is going to save us. And so this is why we get so caught up in different political movements, is because we have this thing in us that tells us we can't do it ourselves. We have to have somebody telling us what to do and how to do it. And so we will ascribe to a particular religion, trying to find that one person, in a sense, that we can blame for our lives, which we have complete and total control over, but we refuse to understand that we have this control. The last 1,000 years has probably been the greatest beginning structure towards us finding who we are. At the same time, what has been nice about the last 1,000 years, at least I can wear the shirt that I'm wearing now to a place that I work, and they're not taking me outside and beating me with stones and sticks. Now, okay, it's not like they believe anything that I might believe, or they may see anything that I might see. It's just now I'm allowed to start being the person that I am, because each and every one of us are unique. That's why I put this up. That 8.5 billion people have their own individual path that they need to try to discover for themselves. And you can only really discover this for yourself if you do not invalidate someone else in their beliefs. I can take a small part of everyone and add it to myself. because everyone that I see is nothing but a reflection of something that I need to know more of who and what I am. So I have this freedom now that I've never had. It's because, yeah, John.
So, do you have a specific way of validating a skill set for this validating others? Because that can be challenging sometimes.
I'm finding it in love. You know, I can love you whether you have this belief of what you think life is or not. I mean, I can love Trump. I can see where I'm not like Trump. I can see where I don't want to go down that path because he is more fearful. The loudest goofball in a room is the single most fearful person in that room. And the one who tries to control absolutely everything around them are the most fearful people that you will ever meet. And so you have to look. I personally look at um, how what I'm getting off of somebody like that, how they were probably raised, is that they were raised in fear. I don't know what kind of a family he grew up in. I do know how and who his dad was in some senses. I know where his money came from. And so when you look at a person, I try to find out enough about them to understand where they were raised at, because my gosh, the person that I was as a kid and where I was raised by a dad that didn't know anything. And if you don't know that, I needed YouTube when I was 9. My dad doesn't know nothing. I need to see YouTube so I can find something else. If that makes any sense. He had, and his sister explained this to me. His mother didn't want him. We all have this, this can happen. Mother didn't want him. He was raised entirely and completely alone all she did was feed him. She didn't want him in the house. And so he was raised by animals that he had, that his dad would bring home. And this is the only teaching that he got because his dad was gone all the time. And so you have to look at the fact that you can grow up to 7 or 8 years old and not have a clue of how to live life. We have a lot of that right now. It's just at the same time, how can I say that that wasn't his path or that wasn't my path? That I had to be in that situation. Because I wouldn't trade anything now for who I am. I wouldn't trade that for nothing in the world. I was able to get into a situation where, as Bashar says, when you pull the razor band back farther and farther and farther into the dark, whenever it finally is released, you are just shot forward into the light. Because we're not here. This is a game. This is going to, for me, it's a game of hide and seek. I came into this world, into the family I was in, into the world I came into to hide the life that I was, as deep and dark as I could hide it. And each and every one of us do the same thing with ourselves, with our parents and our lives that we live. And so here I am. I pull myself back into this darkness or this materialism. Yeah, John.
Yeah, so what you just said about pulling back the razor strap. So Abraham would say, the more intense the contrast is, the more intensely and fully you manifest.
It's just it's just the whole thing of knowing now who I am and where I came from. I can look back and I can actually forgive my dad completely. and thank him for what he given me in my life. Because, and it's just like a lot of people may not be able to do that. I'm going to say, and I keep using Trump as an example because he's the only one that's out there in our face all the time. And at the same time, how much relief would a man like him get if he finally just really looked at what was going on? Because he's pulled himself pretty far back with the rubber band. He is deep in it. And this is why I look at the fact that everybody has how much they can take. Bashar, according to Bashar, there's some people, this is such an intensely material, deep, dark place. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to kind of my opinion on the thing is there's a lot of dopamine in having power.
Yeah.
So, a lot of his behavior is designed to sort of control, power and control. And he's extremely skilled
Yeah.
at amassing power. And it's got to be intoxicating, I imagine.
Yeah, it's like, and you can see this in the, I was really shocked. My wife used to, she wanted some great big white hope to come in and save everybody from Trump. And Biden is elected. And I'm thinking to myself, well, here's your great white hope to see what happens. And 4 whole years of Biden, nothing happened. And so we're stuck back with Trump, which is fine. It's just this is the issue with life is like Trump, he has done his through blackmail. And I don't want to I don't get it.
Yeah, can we not get into Trump?
Yeah, I'll get out of Trump.
I worked real hard to avoid it.
Yeah, it's just that and one of the things that we have to understand for ourselves is that the reason something like this goes on is because of this worship gene that we have, this need for someone to take control of and show us how to do whatever we need to do. And this is the problem that we have with these amassed religions throughout the world. You have,
Can I just say, I truly believe that this following issue that everybody has in our population was honestly programmed to us because we're all required to go to public school. We're all required to stay in a box.
Sure.
And so as we become adults, we all feel lost. None of us have the confidence to truly figure out who we are, unless you're somewhat enlightened, and encounter the right things, read the right books, follow the right path. And you realize that you're not meant to be in a box. You're meant to be your own person because you're perfect the way you are. But public school system starts you off, and you don't fit in that box, then you're bad, or you're stupid, or you're shunned. That's why I homeschool my kids, because I don't want them to be in the box.
okay.
Well, I would say it starts because we're born cognitively immature, and so our parents started. So we start off learning that our parents know stuff that we don't. And it begins way before public education. In fact, it depends on the public education that you have. And it depends how what your family is like as you go into public education.
Yes.
Getting born onto this planet is something that I think we all have a choice in.
Yes.
We all decide, oh, let's go over there. That place is wild, But I'm sure we'll learn a lot from landing on Earth for a while. And then we forget that we decided that we came here and that we picked our parents and all that good stuff. And then we go through the process of expanding until we realize all of that, and we're living it on a daily basis.
Mhm.
I haven't got there yet. This morning I was cooking breakfast and I left the sausages in the frying pan for just a minute while I ran to the bathroom real quick. And you know, I live in a little studio apartment in my daughter's house now. And
The smoke alarm's off.
huh?
Smoke alarm.
The smoke alarm goes off. And and I immediately knocked on her door and opened it and said, "It's okay, I just burned my sausages," and it's going beep beep beep. And so then they turned on their attic fan and blah 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 blah, and I woke up my granddaughter, and so she's like, "Ooh," you know, and it was just this whole drama thing, and I didn't intend to create a drama. You know, I didn't even intend to bother before I came to church. But I sure as heck did. And the alarm kept going off and off and off until it finally quit. We opened the front door, opened the windows, all that
You
stuff.
don't have a button.
I don't know if there's a button anywhere.
Yeah,
There's
but
buttons on
there-
alarms that turn it off, but you still have to clear it.
I
No.
for me, it's just this is the perfect example of how life works. Is that it was the synchronicity. You was able to work through this issue without any of you killing each other.
Yeah, but I could tell that they were a whole lot more upset with me
Sure,
for
that was-
burning my sausages.
but that was their choice.
I don't think it was even their choice. I think it was a habit that we get into.
Well, it's a choice though. It's never it's a choice. All of our emotions are choices. I have to, and the people that we're with, a lot of times, we can learn the greatest lessons from the people we're with. I have issues with my wife. You know, anyway, it just is. There's what I love about today is the fact that I can actually go into science and find myself. It's just like you were saying about there's a lot of good teachers out there, but they're controlled by the system because this system wants to create slaves. And I tell the kids this, and at the same time, they need bus drivers so bad. They still haven't fired me yet for saying a lot of things that I say on the bus. Simply because I want them to know that why you are so bored and upset with where you are at is simply because they are not teaching you anything. They are trying to make you memorize stuff, make you dumb enough that you can go into McDonald's and flip a burger because that's all they have any interest of you to do.
You're saying that kind of stuff on the bus?
Yes.
I think I would have fired you.
Yeah, well, especially if you're trying to create that kind of a beast to have in your life, and and a lot of the kids,
That's not very valid.
like,
Just an observation.
no, I'm not even trying to validate the economical situation that we have. What I'm interested in is me validating John. Say me validating George, me validating.
But each individual teacher is.
There's some good teachers. I've met them.
There's some bad teachers.
And there are teachers who have just got it. This is the problem. The longer they're in the system, and the more they see of how the system works, all they do is just collect on paycheck.
Well,
Yeah,
in 1964, I was in fourth grade.
Yeah.
In, South side of Chicago.
Ooh.
And I had Mrs. Taylor, who was my teacher. I was one of 5 white kids in my class, and we went to. I was in the advanced reading class, so I went to Mrs. Taylor. She wasn't my home. She wasn't a regular teacher. I went to her class, and she was a taskmaster. We had to read a book a week and write a book report a week, and we had to do and we did this personality of the week every single week. It was Black History, but it wasn't. It was called Personality of the Week. She was a good subversive fourth grade reading teacher.
Was she black or white?
She was black. She was very fair skinned. I didn't really know she was black until almost the end of the year. And she, and I'm just pointing out that I kind of have a pushback to judging really anything. You know, whether it's the school system, the government, because like you were saying before, we're all in this play. We're all in this acting out this thing, and what we tend to notice we've attracted for a reason. And so then that's our challenge to go, this is interesting. This is, that I've attracted whatever it is that I'm attracted. And, and the whole thing about trying to gain understanding about, so what's it mean? Why, I attracted this? And it may have been very subconsciously that I attracted, so I might not have been in awareness. So can I gain understanding? Can I gain awareness that helps me on my path?
Yeah, and that's for me is like I know that there's nobody in my life that I have not already sat down with and made choices with. Every one of us planned our lives. And all of this is an orchestration. It's like me standing here today of all the days that I can be standing here. This is the day, and so this is why I try to help in the sense of anybody invalidating someone else, because I have issues like that myself. It's not like I'm perfect by a long ways off. Because sometimes I'll look at what somebody is doing and somebody is saying, and immediately I want to go, that's just wrong. Just evil. That's just terrible. And then I have to look at the fact that I have to really dig into why that person would do the things they do. It's kind of like we were talking about parents raising children. And then all of a sudden you have this 16-year-old girl is pregnant by this 17-year-old guy, and they have this kid. And then they the last thing they wanted to do on this planet was ever raise another kid like their parents did them. And they immediately will fall back into the default mode. And the default mode is when you're sitting there changing that diaper, you're going, oh, boy, that's terrible. And so the little baby has the innocence looking up like, well, I'm terrible. There's something wrong with me. What's going on here, see? And so it starts out at the very earliest age, and to bring about a change in the total structure of what man is, it all begins with that 1-year-old baby. It all begins there. Because there are children who are raised by loving parents who are smart enough to know that, yeah, I don't want to tell my kid that they stink, because I want my kid to grow up. In the first 1 or 2 years, that's what happens, is that we can actually raise adults that will be able to see what is actually going on in the world simply because of that. Yeah.
My son is a hypnotherapist.
Yeah.
And one of his instructors said that until we change the birthing method, because he said most kids come into the world in fear because of the birthing method in this country. And that until that is changed, because the hypnotherapist that he worked with said that one of the biggest things he has to work with people is their birthing experience, to get them over the fear of being on this planet, because they But he said that's one of the things until we change that, because people come in thinking that this is a place of fear.
And at the same time, it's like we go back to, well, what plans did we make prior to getting?
Exactly.
It's like the rubber band thing. You know, I can't say that that soul who was born into a terrible family didn't choose that, because they did. And they chose it simply because of the rubber band effect. At the same time, I think we personally need to grow out of this need that we seem to think we have to have of being pulled back into the darkness so far that we can spring forward into the light. I don't know. That's my issue. I just don't know. This is an insane physical experience, material experience that, see, for me, whenever I recognize infinity, when I recognize that I will never go anywhere, I will always exist, infinity was like a warm blanket. Like, oh, wow, I don't have to fear nothing. I can just know that as long as I spend as much time as I possibly can in this exact moment, here and now,
So true love and self-compassion is about getting really comfortable with not knowing.
yeah, exactly. And so how can you know? That's where infinity came in for me. Is that I don't know what it is that all it is needs to experience to continue being all it is, because all it is expands. All of us expand only through the experiences that we give or have in this universe. And expansion is the name of the game. So by me agreeing to the birth that I have with the family that I am, and the further that the rubber band was pulled back where I came out of, that expanded all of us, and all of us are doing the same thing. That expanded all of us that deeper into the light. And so that's it's just such a big subject for me. Yeah.
So what about the whole idea that we chose our parents?
Oh yeah, no,
we knew
did.
exactly what we were doing.
Exactly.
When we came in. We knew where their heads were at, everything.
Everything. And I know, and I agree with you entirely. This is why I keep trying to fix something that I don't know nothing about.
Well, there's nothing broke.
No, there's never is. It's just that
that's part of the X chromosome.
Yeah.
That tries to fix shit.
Yeah. And so that's just why I want to know. I really want everybody to know that there's 8.5 billion different paths on this planet. You know, everybody has their own unique individual signature. That if we validate that signature from that individual, we become more of who we truly are, more conscious of each and every individual on the planet. And so this is why for me, it's the closest I can get with the small brain tower that I have to the everything that is. That makes any sense, you know, because it's like it's such a big, because there's nothing out there. We're all in this room. There's nothing out there. You know, this is the problem we all have in these religions, is that we're wanting to go out there and find some deity that's going to tell us what to do and make us whoever we are. You know, there is no out there. Nothing.
Or is there a future?
Huh?
And the future doesn't exist either.
No. Neither does the past. Both of them can be changed at any time. In order for me to experience myself at this exact moment in this exact place where I am, I have to be able to change my past in order to find myself in this location. I can go back and change my past. I can make good what was bad things that went on. I can make everything work out. And then at this exact moment, if I just leave the future alone, it can't help but be exactly the future that I need to walk into. It can't help but be.
But why? Why that?
It has no other choice. All it is will not deny you anything. It neither judges or finds any wrong with any goal that you have. You can decide right here and now, I'm the most terrible person on this planet, and all it is will make sure that you know you're the most terrible person on this planet, because this is what you want. Yeah.
I was just going to say that I think sometimes the reason why it seems confusing is because we use the word I.
Yeah.
And if I is the small I, the ego, the three-dimensional I that we know that, that's part of our training, that's a different I, because, you say you have choice and you have control, but a lot of that is not what is the thoughts that are going through our mind.
Yeah.
Because the thoughts that are going through our mind are really a function of the ego. And for the most part, especially the autopilot part.
Yeah.
And so a lot of creating and having things go right is a function of letting go of the micromanaging, judging, blah blah blah.
Big thing. All
Yeah.
right.
And so it gets confusing because we don't have a language that, or we don't use our language in a way, or I don't use my language in a way that where I'm always making a choice about being present in this moment and letting go of the chatter.
No, when the fire alarm's going off, you fall in it, you don't have time to make that choice.
Well, the time doesn't exist. See,
Yeah. I know, but it's like,
so the thing is, well, I mean, and or you can't. It's always a choice, but the choice, it's confusing because there's always a choice of to be really present
Yeah.
versus following a path that we learned.
Yeah, and that's the issue is that I guess what science has actually caught up to is the RAS, is that we can train our RAS, but I don't know that we can ever get rid of the grooves that are there, because you can fall back into those grooves. It's just that the more you train your RAS, the deeper a new groove can start, and you can kind of stay in it without falling back completely in it. I tried to tell my students this, is that to go to YouTube and look up the RAS. These are like little 9 and 10 minute.
what are you saying?
The reticular activating system of your brain
Oh.
is why you do what we always wonder. Well, why do I keep doing the same thing? I keep doing the same thing. I keep doing the same thing, and I keep going. Go ahead.
It's a habit form.
Yes, and this is what it is, and this is the thing, is that you can go back in to the RAS once you recognize what it is and retrain it. I'm not saying you can get rid of the grooves and the records you've been playing all your life, but if you're 15 or 16 years old and you go back in, your grooves are not that deep. It's harder to do when you're 50 or 60 because you have these old grooves that are hard to crawl out of.
A very practical book that relates to that is called The Power of Habit.
The power of habit, yes.
And it's all about the back part of your brain and how you build those grooves.
Yeah. And see, I just, I love the fact that as we get to knowing science, it's like quantum. Now I see quantum as the new place for a person to move into to understand all that it is. Okay, because and when I do that, I can see religions or beliefs in antiquity that were saying the same thing that we're saying now that science is proving to us. Okay, so what we're finding out now through science is how the old spiritualism that we were taught through the India, China, through different places, were saying the exact same thing. The conscious, because what's really nice now is I'm starting to recognize that my brain is a receiver. It doesn't do anything. All it does is like to groove. The longer I want to listen to the groove that's in the back of my head, the more I'm going to just move into the same stuff every day, every day, every day, and not recognize that I can consciously, through consciousness, change. I mean, I love the fact that we're now looking at consciousness as an exterior thing, that the brain does not create consciousness, that when we're why does the color red mean anything? Why? Yeah.
What makes you think it's outside?
Huh?
What makes you think it's outside of yourself?
What, that consciousness? Because it's just in the field. We're just receivers.
What makes you think that that's outside?
Because I can get into the most of my life I've spent in my grooves. I did not recognize that there was something else I could do. I would sit there and go, why do I keep doing the same crap? I keep doing it.
Part of the subatomic part.
Yeah.
Nothing is outside of yourself because
Yeah.
everything is one.
But at the same time, in my experience, in what I'm experiencing is in my, and we've all agreed to this particular room that we're in right now. We've all agreed to it. And so my experience is outside of myself so that I can see more of who I am and what I and where I'm coming from. And so
So it's outside of your small self.
yes.
Yeah.
Jerry has been the physical being of Jerry has been a good mobility device that I used inside this dream. And that's what Jerry is, just a dream also. And so I look at Jerry and I pat Jerry on the back and I thank Jerry for having been such a great tool that I could use and to create more of who and what I am. Really, who and what I am is the only thing that we're looking for anyway. And so there's no one else in my world but me. And all of us, even though we're all individuals, everything that you see inside your dream is there because you need to learn something more about yourself through the experiences that you're having every day. And so this is, I like you said, why did I drag this into my life? What is it about this particular thing that I attracted? And we all agreed to be attracted to one another. All of us. There is no mistakes ever. You're stopped at a stoplight and you have two choices. You can be pissed because of the stoplight, or you can love the person who's sitting next to you. And you have the choice of doing either one. And for me, I do the very best I can. I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I need to get someplace and this damn stoplight's in my way. I think. All right. And so I'm sure that what energy I'm putting out.
Different options, right?
Yes. Energy, my energy is putting out a particular energy maybe I wouldn't want to have. At the same time, there's times I've sat there and I go, I just love that person. They're sitting right next to me. And I can literally see their face soften up. And this is how powerful we are. And there is no one that we ever see that we weren't supposed to see in this particular dream that we're having. Ever. There are no new things.
Even if it's the guy on Glenstone in the car that's driving so slow.
Yeah. They're right there in front of you. I get that too. I'm going down the freeway and they go, you know, I just passed that one. Wow. This one here's even going slower than ones I just passed, but I can't pass them because I got to get off the highway right up here. I got to follow them on the ramp. And they're in my way.
Or
See?
you got that other guy that
Yeah.
zooms on by you on a 2-lane road with a double yellow line around the curve.
There you go.
I was passing up this morning. I was passing up this car. It
Yeah.
was going slow. I started off in like 3 cars behind him. Everybody was just kind of stuck behind him. And as I passed him, I looked over to see who it was, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
This cute little old man, driving his car,
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, that it really it fit, but it was in a I couldn't be like negative or frustrated.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
just
what it
the-
is.
We had
The
a
thing
crazy
is, I-
incident this morning too. We almost rear-ended. There were actually 2 cars. One car stopped at a railroad crossing that just had a yield sign. It's over there by the O'Reillys,
Yeah.
off Chestnut. We were driving down Patterson. We live over in that neighborhood, and they stopped, and they just sat there. And like there was a car behind them, and they slammed on their brakes, and their tires screeched. Gabe
Waiting
slammed on
for-
his brakes, and I'm like this with my coffee, trying
They're
not to
waiting for the
spill it.
train.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
You don't
And
know
Gabe's
what-
like, what the heck is he doing? I go, honk the horn. And he honks the horn. And they literally go, vroom, and just like, they were gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was a
And see, these are challenges for us, though. I mean, it's just the simple fact is that's supposed to happen.
You couldn't help but laugh
I
at it.
know, but it's
I
just
mean-
like, and the problem is that we all want to say that this is a problem, and it's not a problem. It's a challenge. It's a challenge to ourselves to look at who or what I'm doing at this very moment. And so I find that I try to create a good feeling about that a situation like, and sometimes it's hard. My gosh, sometimes it's like, yes,
I keep a clown nose right inside my dash, and when I, like, I'm in traffic, and we come to a stop sign, and there's a car with a bunch of kids in it, I'll take it out, put it on, and just sit there.
And look.
My kids would love that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. It's really interesting.
And that's the beautiful part about life is we can put our clown nose on. How is that? Maybe that's what we need is a few more clown noses out there running around.
Well, I'll be giving away a few dozen after I croak.
Yeah.
Like funerals, I'll give them.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have a party. Ah! No. But yeah, I don't know. I just think for me, I just think that we are in such a great position in our lives that once we stop invalidating someone else, I mean, I think it will help. I may not help them at all, but it will help us to understand that whatever is happening, so I'm a firm believer there's only one thing. And it's one thing experiencing another thing about itself. And so to invalidate that is to say to that one thing, you created something that was wrong. And I personally now can't do that. I have to just somehow either find what is good in that situation or move on.
Or is it saying you created something that I didn't want to attract, but I did?
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to attract it bad
and I did the thing, don't put the jalapeno in the cupboard there. Don't put the jalapeno in the cupboard. Don't put the it might fall in that sauce. Don't put the jalapeno on the top because it might fall in the sauce. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It happened!
And so this is, and for me, it's just the fact that everything, since it is all orchestrated exactly the way it's going to go in a sense. I mean, let me put it this way. I'm still given choices. I can choose how I want to look at what it, because everything is neutral. There's not, this wall isn't talking to you, it's telling you what to do, other than the fact that you can't walk through that wall because you made an agreement with all that is and with everything. I made an agreement with each and every one of you that the structures that we have inside this dream, I have to continue to believe that they're real in order to have this particular dream that we're having. I can't walk through, even though I know I can walk through that wall, because I know it's just full of space. At the same time, since I have agreed to have this particular experience with each and one of you, each and every one of you, then yes, that's a wall. Yeah.
So what changed with Jesus when he walked through walls?
Who?
He was still Jesus. He was still having the experience.
Well, no, this is.
But it was a different experience that he was trying to show us was a possibility.
Well, yeah, and it's still, we can do that. We can raise ourselves to the position where we can walk through these walls, but as long as we're agreeing, all of us here are agreeing that the wall is solid because we have something to learn from it, the wall is solid. Jesus could walk through the wall simply because he had raised his vibration to a point where his energies were moving so fast that the energies that were keeping the wall in place it was really slow to him. He could walk through it. Because we know that an atom, just the atomic structure, the nucleus and the proton, which never leaves the atom, the distance between those two is like the distance between the Earth and the sun. And so you're sitting there and go, so most of everything we see is just space. So what fills the space? Then we get into your quantum, when you get into your very, very, very small particles that we have in this world. It will create this wall that we see, and our brain and our eyes are only geared towards this experience. Because we all agreed to play by these rules. We were born. We're here. And each and every one of us know each other. This is, everybody I meet, I know them. I mean, the people at my stoplight, when I'm standing at the stoplight, I know all of those people. We may not have any particular meeting of any kind other than that stoplight at that time, but I know. And in some other life, if I decide to come back in this life, maybe we will have some kind of interaction beyond just the stop sign or the stoplight. And so this is why I really like the knowledge that I have control. I mean, the next time I start choosing, because I will start choosing again. I chose this life. I pulled myself back into the darkness and I flung myself into the light as far as I could see. But I have the choice. I had the choice of that young child being pulled back into the darkness, and I had the choice of being where I am today. And I guarantee you, I get another choice. I may or may not come back. I don't know. There's no such thing as karma. I don't owe anybody anything. I owe myself, just like you owe yourself. You owe yourself the knowledge of understanding who you truly are. I don't think I need to find any more of myself in this. Go ahead, John.
I want to clarify that understanding and knowledge are two different things.
Yeah. Because knowledge is that. Yeah. Because you can know something and not have any idea what it's like. You can intellectualize spiritualism, until you can feel it and know it, then you don't have any understanding of it.
And I don't believe that's a done deal with that one decision. You know, I believe it's decision after decision after decision.
I don't know how many times they've come back here. I don't know. I don't know how many times. I may have lived 1,000 lifetimes. I'm looking at, because you know, when you look at a lifetime, we were talking about that earlier. You take an 80-year period of time compared to a 4.5, and compared to just infinity alone. But you can look at just, okay, the planet's been here 4.5 million years, and I lived 80 years of it. That's not even an eye blink. How many times do I have to do that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering about how many times we've been here. Reminds me of this little riddle. What's another name for an old soul?
What?
It's a slow learner.
Thank you, Peter. So now I know what I. Yeah, yeah, and it is. It's just, it's so beautiful, so wonderful. I would never want to live my life any other way, and I'm so glad to have come to this church and all of you. I really am. It's just, my gosh. I mean, why? Then I walk through these doors as a baby. You know, I mean, I needed this when I got here. I needed to find other people who were on their path,
Crazy.
not on my, you know, everybody's on their path. And it's so hard to find. There are people who are in your secular churches and stuff who are on a path, probably different from everybody else in that church. And you can find them. There's good people in every church, everywhere you go. At the same time, I need this. I still need this. You know, I'm like right now. I'm going to Arizona, and I'm looking for another Unity church. I probably won't find one exactly like this, no matter where I go. But yeah,
There's one in Tucson.
I'm going to go to Sedona. Well, I'm going to be in
There's one in
Verde
Sedona.
Valley. In fact, John is part of. He watches the Verde Valley because it showed to Eric and you are both have watched the Verde Valley Unity Church. You know, and so it's in Cottonwood, and so I'll probably go there. And you know, at least it's got the. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it just hit me that and it just hits me every day. I mean, I'm in a hurry to try to get out of here by June 1st, and I'm thinking I got to do this to the band, I got to do that to the band. And I thought, screw that, I'm just going to get the band running and get it all put together. I could work on it when I get to Arizona. You know, I can paint the roof, I can do whatever in Arizona. But I just want to go, and I'm not saying I'm going to stay. I don't know. You know, I guess this is the great part of being retired and old, is that I don't have to really stay anywhere. I mean, I do want to go because Bashar has been a big part of my life, and he claims that Bell Rock, there's such a vortex there that it'll just. I want to put it this way: I can feel where I'm at right now. I want to know that energy that I'm feeling is correct. And I think Bell Rock will tell me that, if that makes any sense. You know?
Well, if you believe it, it's possible.
What do you mean by correct?
Well, it's like ACIM talks about the Holy Spirit, or the feelings that you get, and the things that are going on. And we're so good at talking ourselves into thinking that something is or isn't something. I just want to go there, be on that rock, and feel that energy, so that when I leave, I know that feeling or that knowing of that energy. Well, no, because this is the energy I felt in Bell Rock, so I'm going to go this way, or this is the energy I felt. Does that make sense? You know, just, yeah.
You know, there's, sometimes you talk about, well, you always have two choices. Well, and I think about, there's thinking,
Mm-hmm.
there's doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's just being.
What about feeling?
Feeling, for me, is a verb, so it's in the doing. You know, it's perceptual. So it's that. It's like feeling heat and cold is a feeling, and emotions are feeling from a different sensory kind of thing. And I think of that as being like a verb. So I put it in the doing, but that's arbitrary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I read something one time about feelings, emotions, and thoughts. Everything is based on thoughts, but we can only have one thought at a time. So somehow we subconsciously organize our thoughts into feelings. And then when we get too many feelings to, we organize those into emotions. So emotions are actually, according to this, based on thought.
I've read that.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally think that if we listen more to emotions, we could try to define ourselves with maybe with words, but words are so terrible. It just is. Just
So
it just,
So,
It's kind of necessary.
and that might be what you're looking for when you go to vortex is, how does this feel?
yeah.
Am I
Emotions.
in bliss?
Yeah.
It's a feedback loop.
Yeah.
We look at emotions as, okay, am I in sync with where I think I'm choosing to go?
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's why I want to go there. Out of all of them, just simply what I read about it is that those things that are you are intensified in that area, in that particular spot. It's just that intense emotion of knowing, and why for me that I want to do that is that once I leave there, I will never forget that emotion or that vibration. And so I can, whatever situation I'm in, where I have two choices, I can choose that emotion and move on into it, if that makes any sense. It's like, because words are just, we're sitting here and we've talked about, in a sense, about the same thing in many, many ways. And at the same time, it doesn't hardly begin to even explain, express our emotion in anything. Just words are just terrible. Just at the same time, I can't wait till we all do that. Let me get this here going. All right. Whenever you want to.
Are you going to read the announcements?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to?
I'm sorry. Like that. All right. All right. These are the announcements we have. Everyone is invited this evening and every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. for meditation. The church will be closed tomorrow in observance of Memorial Day. This Saturday, May 30th, 7 p.m. is the first concert, our summer concert series. Community through music. Okay. Community through music. Yeah, I'm like. Yeah. Join us for an evening of great live music featuring Bailey Stewart, David Walrod, and drum medicine. Bring your friends, family, and lawn chairs. Next Sunday, for our celebration service, we are thrilled to welcome Mitch Shears as our guest speaker. Mitch has been a resident of Springfield for over 3 decades, where he and his wife, Carrie, graduated from MSU, have raised their 2 kids, Bella and Beck, Over the course of his career, Mitch has dedicated himself to service and community leadership. He and his family have been attending Unity of Springfield over 15 years, and he volunteers many hours playing in our band. Next Sunday, in our New Testament, New Thought adult education class, all day we'll be discussing the father of Unity, Charles Fillmore. Class starts at 9:15, and you can join in person for what's live on our Facebook. We are excited to announce the information of our new building and grounds team. This team is for everyone who would like to help with basic repairs, maintenance, or landscaping projects around our church property. No tools or experience are necessary, just willingness to help keep our church building and grounds in tip-top shape, looking beautiful for all who visit. If you're interested in being part of this team, please sign up at the connection table. There will be a town hall meeting during this next Friendship Sunday potluck on June 7th. Bring a dish, share a plan, and stay after the service as we come together to share updates, ask questions, and talk about the future of our community. Come join us for a free seminar presented by the Senior Resource Network of the Ozarks. This is an organization of professionals in the community who all focus on the needs of senior citizens. They will discuss a wide range of resources, all of which most seniors or their children will likely need at some point in time. The seminar will be held on June 10th at 10 a.m. here at the church. We will be participating in this year's Ozarks Pride Fest. We will have a booth and also walk in the parade. Please sign up at the pride table in the foyer if you would like to help in the booth. The volunteer time slots are for 2 hours. If you would like to walk in the parade with us, the location, time, and parade route are also on the table in the foyer. We are also taking t-shirt orders. You can order a crew neck or a v-neck. We're doing the same artwork as last year since everyone loved it so much, and the shirt color is charcoal gray. The last day to order a shirt is June 4th. Please stand and join. Okay, here we go. Don't have to read that. All right. Thank you all for listening to me. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
You want to gather up at the back?
Yeah. We got to do that.